Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'm going to start my next series and I'm only going to be using the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. Let's get to it. I just finished a 3-part series using only the Powertec Lever Gym, so check those videos out if you haven't seen them. As I mentioned in my Lever Gym only series, I start every day by hanging out with these two greyhounds who are especially worked up today, and while I'm doing that, I'm letting my pre-workout kick in, and then after about 30 minutes, I'll perform the McGill Big 3, and then I'll move upstairs to my bonus room. Because today is an upper body pull day, I'll use the Concept 2 rower for about 500 meters, and then I'll use some strength bands to further warm up the muscles. Powertec has 2 functional trainers. They have their deluxe model, which is more expensive than this one. It has a larger footprint, and it has 2 weight carriages. This is the Streamline Functional Trainer with only 1 weight carriage. I did a full review on this piece if you want more information about it. And at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I did a series using only the Powertec Lever Gym, and I did a push workout, a pull workout, and a legs workout. I'm still on the fence if I want to do a leg workout on this machine because functional trainers in general just aren't great for lower body training. So here are some of my favorite warm-up exercises using the bands. All of this style band came from Elite FTS. This style band came from Power Systems. I'll do 12 to 15 of each one of these exercises, starting with my favorite one. And then I'll move on to some shrugs. And then I'll move on to this easier band for some band pull-aparts, starting with my palm down, and then I'll move to palm up, and then I'll include some bicep curls, and I'll also do some wrist curls because I think it's important to warm up your forearms, especially before any pull workout. After I warm up with the bands, I like to start every upper body pull workout with a pull down exercise. If you only have access to a functional trainer, there's one big issue, and that's keeping yourself weighted down as you do the pull down exercise. For example, for most lat pull downs, you have those roller pads that go over your legs. With most functional trainers, that's not an option. Also, you might try sitting on your bench, but the only issue there is that when you reach full extension, chances are the pulling will hit its stopping point before you've actually reached the full range of motion. So one thing that I have is this stool right here, which is lower than all of my benches, and this Streamline Functional Trainer is raised. So I can lock my feet under here and move a considerable amount of weight without being lifted up. And at 5'9", these pulleys almost top out, but not quite when I've reached the full range of motion. And another option is to take your Olympic bar, put some 45s on there just to elevate the bar. I have some 2x4s behind each plate to chalk it. And then I have this squat pad here just to make the exercise more comfortable. I did lower the pulleys a little bit so that they're easier to reach. Otherwise, it's just way too hard to get in and out of position. But now, with this setup in place, I can keep myself weighted down. When the weight starts getting a lot heavier, my backside won't be coming off the ground. While the bar is a good option for pull downs, I'm going to stick with the stool and locking my feet under the frame of the machine just because it's easier to get in and out of as I start my warm-up process. This reminds me a lot of the free motion lat machine that you'll see in most gyms. There's also a free motion row machine. So with a functional trainer, you can copy most of those free motion machines. Continuing on with the warm-up process, as I mentioned before, I'll do a few warm-up sets, and then I'll do 2 heavy sets. So normally my warm-ups are 12 repetitions on the first warm-up, maybe 8 repetitions on the second warm-up, and if I'm doing a really, really heavy weight, I might warm up an additional time, only 3 or 4 repetitions before I do my first true work set. I'm getting ready to start my first work set, and before I do that, I will mention that this is my first pin-loaded machine. I've always had plate-loaded equipment because 1, it's cheaper, 2, it's easier to move around, but I do like having this pin option on this machine. It just makes things much easier, and if, for example, I wanted to do a drop set, it makes that go much more seamlessly. But here we go with my first work set. I'll shoot for 10 to 12 repetitions. And this is a heavy 120 pounds. 120 pounds on the lever gym pull down feels a lot easier than this. I've had two Powertec Streamline Functional Trainers over the years. The first one I sold to pay for the Concept 2 ski erg. After a little bit of time, I started to miss it. So I like the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer enough to get it a second time. While I'm resting between sets, I will mention that for this Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, this weight stack is an add-on, so if you wanted to save some money, you could just buy this machine and use the weight horns that come standard. And I think this is a really nice feature, and unlike most functional trainers, this one does have these weight horns. And another thing that I like about it, if for example, I'm ready to go up from 120, but I'm not quite ready for 130, I could put 2.5s on each one of these weight horns, and that would be a good happy medium. So here we go with set number 2. If I evaluate every piece of equipment I have, 3 pieces stand out as being extremely versatile. First, the lever gym, in my opinion, is the most versatile piece of equipment I have. And then the Rhino is very versatile for lower body exercises, but I think it falls short for a lot of upper body exercises. And then this functional trainer is extremely versatile for upper body exercises, but as with most functional trainers, it falls short with lower body exercises, especially the way that I train, where I try to reach failure with compound exercises. And for example, doing a squat on this functional trainer is just pretty difficult because you have to start in the bottom position. So 12 and 10, I'm happy with those numbers. Next up, I'm gonna do one back off set and only do one arm at a time in more of a strictly vertical motion as opposed to this pull-in motion. I'll use opposition, so if the right arm's pulling, the left knee is up. I got 20 on my right side. Now I'm gonna shoot for 20 on my left side. I meant to start with my weak side first, but this is extra motivation to push this left side hard. Now I'm going to do my back width Widowmaker. I'm going to do a pullover with this functional trainer bar. This comes with the machine. I do have a 60-pound dumbbell back here bracing the bench just so that the bench doesn't slide back. In the 50 plus videos that I've made, this was the most frustrating because after this shot, unbeknownst to me, my mic cut out. So I finished the workout and realized half the video had no sound. So everything after this point is a second shot. Safe to say, I was shot. But I had to stay the course and persevere. So I put on my workout clothes, took a little extra pre-workout, and got back to recording. I have found these 20 rep Widowmaker sets to be a great way to finish a muscle. First, it adds variety in my training. 2, it puts a lot of blood into the muscle group. And this came from Dante Trudel's DC training program, which I did for a number of years. And I've just modified the program to adjust to my age. I'm moving on to my back thickness movement, which will be a seated row, but rather than sitting on the floor, I'm going to sit on my bench. In order to make this happen, I had to lower the pulleys down about 3/4 of the way. I have my functional trainer bar on here with the Angles 90 grips in place. Without this setup, I would have to pull in at an angle if I was just using each column, but with this setup, I can pull straight back. I have 120 pounds worth of dumbbells right here, just so that the bench doesn't slide forward. And the cue that I'll use here is to tuck my elbows into my back pockets. And I'll shoot for about 12 repetitions on the first warm-up set. Here's warm-up set number 2. I'll shoot for about 6 reps. Now I'm going to move on to my work set. I hope to get about 12 repetitions on this set and then maybe about 10 on the second set. I'll push this really close to failure, if not all the way to failure. I think these next 2 sets were 110 pounds. And as I mentioned before, this is a heavy 110. If I were to do the same exercise on the lever gym, 110 pounds would be much easier. And that's simply because of the pulley ratio of each machine. For a lot of people, depending on their goals, the functional trainer may be the only piece of equipment that they want or need. Also, in a lot of hotel gyms and apartment complex gyms, the functional trainer might be the only piece of strength training equipment available. And another amazing feature is how small of a footprint most functional trainers require. Now I'll rest for a couple of minutes, get ready for set number 2. I'm about halfway through my workout, so I've finished my intra-workout protein drink, and I'm getting ready to switch over to Hydrocharge with a little bit of caffeine in it. All right, here's work set number 2. If I had to start downsizing, I would look at which machines offer me the greatest amount of versatility with the smallest footprint. The lever gym is my number 1 most versatile piece of equipment. I think the functional trainer comes in as the 2nd most versatile, and then the Rhino would be the 3rd most versatile. At the time of this recording, the Rhino costs over $2,000. And if I didn't have lower back issues, I don't even think I would have the Rhino, but I love to squat and I love to squat heavy, and the Rhino allows me to do that. This functional trainer, at the time of this recording, is $17.99 with free shipping, and the Powertec Lever Gym is $14.99 with free shipping. Now for my back off set, I'm going to completely change my posture. I'm going to lighten the weight by about half, and I'm going to go for high reps. I'm getting a great mind-muscle connection on this pull. It definitely feels like it's fatiguing the muscle nicely. Within the next week or 2, I'll upload an upper body push workout using only the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, so make sure you hit the notification bell so you can check that one out. I like using the functional trainer more for push exercises than I do for pull exercises. Now that all of my back exercises are done, I'm going to perform my extreme stretch for back, and I'll hang here for 60 to 90 seconds. Moving on to biceps, and one of my favorite bicep exercises to do with a functional trainer is a stretch curl. And this looks a lot like laying on an incline bench and doing a curl with dumbbells. So I get a good stretch right here. And it's hard for me to get my biceps sore the next morning after training. But with any type of a stretch movement like this, I might experience a little bit of DOMS the following day. For my second warm-up set, I jumped up 1 plate and I added 2.5s to the weight horns because I don't want to jump up 2 plates quite yet. So continuing on with my warm-up sets to help prime the mind and the muscles for the heavier set that's to come. And now it's time for my work set. I'm going to shoot for about 12 repetitions. Over the years, I've used a number of different commercial functional trainers, including the Free Motion and Cybex functional trainers. However, the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer is the only functional trainer for home use that I've had any experience using. I'm trying to keep my elbows back. For set number 2, I'm going to try to hit 10 reps. Then I'm going to do a drop set, and I'm going to turn and I'm going to face the machine just to change up the exercise a little bit. I have found my biceps respond better to lower volume, higher intensity, and if I try to increase my volume too much, all I'll do is end up aggravating my connective tissue. All right, drop set time. And I have to shorten these handles so I can get a full range of movement. Now I'm ready. And here's one instance where it's really nice to have a pin-loaded machine, just so I don't have to walk behind the functional trainer and strip plates off. Next up, just one work set of a hammer preacher curl. I'll do one warm-up set just to make sure the bench is positioned correctly and just to get the muscles ready. But this is going to be a high rep set of hopefully 20, so I don't need to warm this up too much. Here's my high rep work set. I'm hoping to get 20 repetitions. And I don't think I'll play this the whole way through, just because it's not very exciting to look at. Here's my extreme stretch for arms using the functional trainer. I have 60 pounds on there, and I'll shoot for 60 to 90 seconds, just holding the stretch in place to stretch the biceps out. And I'm going to finish up with shrugs. I'll do a couple of warm-up sets, and then I'll do 2 heavy work sets, and then 1 back off set with a lighter weight, more explosively. And I like doing shrugs on the functional trainer because each side can work independently of the other, so it's not like a Smith machine or a barbell where one side can dominate the movement. Now I'm ready for my first work set for shrugs. I have 120 pounds on here, and I don't think I'll show these the whole way through because they're not very exciting to look at. But as I mentioned, I'll do 2 work sets, and then I'll do 1 back off lighter set. That's how I would structure an upper body pull workout using only a functional trainer. Of course, there are lots of different training programs you can follow. I've always just enjoyed and I've found my best results using a low volume, high intensity program. Also, I hope this video was helpful for anyone considering buying the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. When I did my review for this piece, I just used lightweight and did a variety of different exercises, but today I wanted to show the weights that I would actually use during a real workout. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you found anything in this video helpful, please give it a like. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. You can find me on Instagram under Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Take care, everyone.